Why does Saudi Arabia's decision to distance itself from the United States have such a profound effect on the value of the U.S. petrodollar? The significance of Saudi Arabia's about-face can only be understood in the context of the rise of the U.S. dollar as the world's de facto reserve currency. Hello, and welcome back to Financial Insights. Today's video discusses OPEC's recent decision to join the BRICS in their efforts to end the dollar's dominance. Now, is this a part of Russia, China, and India's master plan to make BRICS currency the new reserve currency? Let's explore. The story begins in the midst of Europe's darkest hour during World War II in the 1940s. When faced with significant uncertainty, 44 countries grouped together and adopted the Bretton Woods system. The consensus was for all countries to align their currencies with the US dollar. That's how it had to be done to fit in with the parameters of the new currency. The rationale behind this decision to fix the dollar's value to gold was to stabilize global economies. The failure of the United States in the Vietnam War, however, altered the steady course of the US dollar in the early 1970s. In addition to the balance of payments crisis, the United States was also suffering from a loss of credibility among its allies and partners. The Nixon administration, with its back against the wall, negotiated a landmark agreement with the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC. In the mid-1970s, it agreed to provide U.S. military aid to the Gulf nations in exchange for dollar-only oil trade. This led to the development of the petrodollar. The United States benefited greatly from the assistance of Saudi royalty. This furthers the claim that Saudi Arabia has been exerting undue influence over the other OPEC members. It's no secret that Saudi Arabia outsells every other country, the United States included, when it comes to the export of crude oil. It represents 17.2% of total exports. By means of Saudi Arabia, the United States was able to exert indirect control over the dollar. Rifts between Saudi Arabia and the United States have escalated, and oil prices around the world have been pegged. However, tensions between the Trump administration and the Saudi monarchy have been growing recently. Since President Biden took office, his administration has been pushing the boundaries set by the Saudi monarchy. It's clear that Riyadh isn't happy with the decision made by Biden's administration to end its support for Saudi Arabia's military campaign in Yemen. Attacks on Saudi oil infrastructure by the Houthis have been ongoing, posing a constant threat to the Saudi regime. In addition, Biden has been working to revive the JCPOA nuclear deal by getting cozy with Saudi Arabia's arch-rival, Iran. Though the rising worries don't just go up and up. Recently, the Biden administration claimed that OPEC Plus was taking Russia's side and drastically reducing global oil supplies. Democratic lawmakers responded by introducing a bill that would require the removal of U.S. military equipment stationed in Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, UAE, as well as a wide range of weapons. Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates are currently home to some 5,000 soldiers. This is why Saudi Arabia has been expressing such strong interest in joining the enlarged BRICS bloc. Therefore, the petrodollar will experience its greatest shock since its inception in the mid-1970s, when the broader BRICS group begins trading in BRICS currency. The petrodollar, which emerged from an agreement between the Saudi-led OPEC group and the United States, could be defeated by the same pill, i.e. an enlarged BRICS. The petrodollar will die if Saudi Arabia leads OPEC in using BRICS currencies for oil and other international trade. A united and powerful BRICS has the potential to end the petrodollar's reign of terror. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, collectively referred to as BRICS, form a formidable group of emerging economies. Group accounts for roughly 16% of global trade, despite being responsible for 41% of the world's population. Every year since its inception in 2009, all of the member countries have gotten together for meetings. The 14th annual BRICS Nations meeting was held this year in a virtual setting in China. Russian President Vladimir Putin proposed a radical plan at this summit meeting. He stated that the BRICS countries would be issuing a new global reserve currency that would be known as the BRICS currency. If the decision is implemented as planned, It will deal a severe blow to the value of the US dollar because the introduction and use of BRICS currency has the potential to rapidly eat away at the dominance of the US dollar in international trade. More emerging economies are expected to join the BRICS group in the near future. At the present time, Argentina has submitted a formal application to join the BRICS. To the United States' surprise, however, its long-term ally Saudi Arabia is also considering joining the BRICS bloc. According to reports, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has informed the BRICS expansion group that Saudi Arabia is interested in joining. With this action, Saudi Arabia has the potential to end the dominance of the US dollar. The petrodollar's dominance in international trade may be eradicated if the extended BRICS group, including Saudi Arabia, begins trading in BRICS currency. The turn of events did not really shock anyone. For a number of months, Russia has been looking into alternatives to the dollar that would allow for more efficient bilateral trade. In addition to the local currency trade that was already taking place, the possibility of rupee-ruble exchange is being investigated. Russia is also advocating for more foreign direct investment, FDI, within its borders after being hit by sanctions. India and other economically stable countries have been encouraged to invest in Russia, and efforts are underway to make it easier for Indians to use India's Unified Payments Interface, UPI, there. There is a good chance the petrodollar will be phased out if the plan is carried out properly. Here's why. Right now, just 5 of the group's nations account for 23% of the world economy, and 25% of all international investment flows into and out of these 5 countries. These nations also play a significant role in international trade. The combined share of these nations in international merchandise trade is 18%. Products, services, and investment are all thriving in this region. Time to cut down on the use of petrodollars. It's understandable why Russia would take such extreme measures to reduce its reliance on the petrodollar. The unavoidable reliance on the dollar trade has put it at a disadvantage. Indian economic policy was shifted in 1991 because of the country's reliance on the US dollar as its foreign exchange reserve. The same force pushed China into joining the WTO. Even though these shifts may not always be detrimental to nations, they still have lasting effects. Hope you have understood how the OPEC and BRICS are posing a major threat to the US dollar with this video. If you like this video, you might also like our detailed video on how BRICS currency will work. It's on your screen right now. That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.